What's up, YouTube? It's Clash Cory, and we got more Clash Mini update sneak peeks. Today, we got the two new minis coming to Clash Mini, the Prince and the Musketeer. We're gonna do a full kit reveal, play some live gameplay, go over whether they're gonna be any good, how you should be playing them, what decks they're good in. Also, we got a fabulous new skin for the Prince as well. Let's do it. Alright, here we go. Now, we are in the developer build for Clash Mini, so yes, I do get early access to all the sneak peeks, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss even more future sneak peeks coming. Alright, you can already see the fantastic and fabulous Prince skin that we have equipped. Here's his normal looking Prince, But alright, what we're gonna do is break down how both of these new minis work, sort of explain them, and then we'll go over some live gameplay. So we'll start off with the Prince and then the Musketeer. I put timestamps so you can skip around if you want, although I do always appreciate some nice watch time. Alright, starting off with the Prince because he's fabulous, and seriously, he's going to be the better of the two units. I actually think the Prince is quite a solid unit, but first of all, he's a 4-cost unit with a Clash ability that's really crucial to his kit. At the start of the battle, he charges forward on his horse, and he lances the first enemy that he comes upon. And actually, he'll even hit the miner, but only if the miner is on that top row tile. But on the flip side, for a 4-cost melee unit, he doesn't have a ton of health. He has 10 health, which is okay, right? It's not that bad for sure, but it's also not very high compared to a lot of the other frontline melee units. But of course, he has that Clash ability. He also does 2 damage per hit though, although his attack speed is a little bit slow. But the main reason why I think the Prince is actually going to be quite a good unit is because of his Clash ability. It's one of the few things that allows him to target the enemy backline. If you put him in one of the far side lanes and you send him down, hopefully you hit a backline unit, or if not, at least he's attacking a backline unit afterwards. This makes him one of the 7 units now in Clash Mini that can target the enemy backline. Before this update, only 6 out of 20 units in the game could target the enemy backline. Now it's 7 out of 22, with the Prince being one of them. Now, as far as his upgrades, his first one boosts his Clash ability by 5 damage, making it deal 8 damage in total. So if you do this upgrade, it will almost guarantee a kill versus every single backline unit. There are some small exceptions like the Musketeer and maybe the Bowler if both of those units are upgraded, but that's basically it. Or the Archer Queen actually as well. But if you combine that first upgrade with the second upgrade, which is a boast, whenever he gets a kill, he gains a huge speed boost for 6 seconds. And considering his attack speed is quite slow, gaining that speed boost could allow him to suddenly dish out massive damage since he does 2 damage per hit. So if you can get this boost by getting this extra charge, boom, he will all of a sudden be a really crazy good unit. But of course, you're gambling because all of a sudden you spent 12 elixir on this, but it also requires you to get that kill at the start of that battle. But his third ability might be his best ability, and one of the best abilities in the game. It's actually insane. Once the Prince dies, his trusty companion pony comes on out. It has 6 health, 1 damage per hit. But the crazy part is every time the pony attacks, it stuns and pushes back the enemy. This is insane. That's a crazy ability on its own, and the fact that once he dies, everyone who is targeting him will no longer be targeting. So the pony will seriously is one of the best units in the game. Just that third ability is amazing. Although of course this ability is only even useful once the Prince dies. So for example, if you send him to the back line, he completely misses, no one's even targeting him, and he's the last unit to die. Yeah, then I guess it wasn't a good upgrade. But generally speaking, this is an amazing upgrade. Now, if we're trying to counter the Prince, your goal is basically to catch the Prince with any frontline unit. Anything that's going to survive after he does that Clash ability. Any hero, giant skeleton is a huge counter, big surprise, I know. But seriously, any melee frontline unit, anything with over 8 health basically, is a decent counter versus the Prince, or at least to make it so he's not going to be quite as good. So with that in mind, with the Prince, you really do want to put him on those far side tiles most of the time, or wherever you can put him where you think it's going to reach the backline. All right, now as far as best combos or decks with the Prince. First of all, I think the Prince combines amazing with the Miner, because with both of them together, you have two units who are melee at the back line, and they can sort of support each other and make sure that you finish off those backline units, and if one of them goes down, the other one is there to help clean it up. As far as other units in this deck that I have, I chose all units that target the backline to sort of just keep going with that theme. The Archer, a really good unit in general. You can put a lot of upgrades in it, you never feel bad. And then I threw the Bowler and the Spear Goblin in there because you don't need to upgrade them, and they have good clash abilities that can target the backline. As far as hero, you might go with whatever melee hero you have the most upgraded, but probably either the Barbarian King, the Monk, or the Shield Maiden, but I think the Barbarian King or the Monk might be your best choices. Probably surprising for you to hear that, but I'll explain more in a different video. But also another thing with the Barbarian King is he does boost the damage of your units, so it can maybe help the Prince get that boast ability, make it more likely for him to get a kill every time he attacks something, because he would deal 3 damage per hit, and you combine that with the speed boost, all of a sudden 3 damage per hit, and he's attacking really fast. Ho, 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 you better watch him. All right, live match time versus Archer Queen. All right, we're going to start off with our ultimate backline combo of Miner and Prince. And you know what? Let's put it in the side. You know what? Let's go far side. Let's put it on the top as well. Okay, we want to immediately target. Boom, we're going up the map as fast as possible with a fabulous animation. Also, notice the Archer Queen targeted my Prince. I'm kind of upset about that. Maybe if I put my Prince further in the back, maybe the Archer Queen would have targeted my Barbarian King. But one thing to note about this, and just like how I said the Prince can counter the Miner if the Miner is on this top tile, the Prince has a really fast clash ability. Like what that means is it just activates, boom, immediately, and that's where it can sort of get targeted like that. All right, you know what? I don't know if this was the super smartest thing, but we just went ahead and we upgraded our 2 backline units here. Just gave them more health, more damage, more possibilities here. We missed our clash ability, so that's 4 elixir that we probably wasted. Not probably, definitely. And the Prince gained 2 health. But despite that, we are kicking his butts because they target the backline. These two are helping each other out. That backline is decimated because, boom, I mean, there's just nothing they can do. We're going to go put down a Spear Goblin. Let's see if we can get another Prince upgrade. You know what? Actually, let's go for more units. More units in the 3rd round, always a good thing. And guess what? Now we have Cleave. So here we have Spear Goblin targeting this lane. You know what? We'll put the Miner in the middle. He can target all 3 of the middle lanes, and the Prince is in the far right. Oh, but look at this Miner. I mean, this is the thing when you have this. We have so many clash abilities. We can cover almost every lane that the opponent enemy has. So even if we miss with 1 or 2 of the clash abilities, the other ones are definitely hitting, and it just makes it a super deadly, hard to avoid combo. All right, now let's go over the Musketeer, who honestly to me is kind of like a mini Ewiz. In a way, there's a lot of similarities between the Musketeer and the Ewiz, except that the Musketeer is probably a worse unit. I'm not so sure the Musketeer is that good. Maybe like a B tier at best. But again, this is dev build, not exactly like I'm playing top players or anything, so not the best examples, but still my initial feeling. Now, looking at the stats for the Musketeer, you'll notice there's a lot of similarities. Like I said, with the Ewiz, 1 damage per hit, attack speed almost the same. Actually, the Musketeer is the highest health backline unit in the game right now. Also notice the energy cost is 4, which is the same as Ewiz. Now, as far as what the Musketeer does, once you get that 4 energy, see supers, and that super does 3 damage, it stuns, and it pushes back whoever she hits, but it only targets 1 person. But if you think about it, with that pushback ability, it's much more of a counter to melee units than, say, the Ewiz is. So if you have a bunch of melee units and the Musketeer hits them with their super, all of a sudden they get pushed back really far on the map, allowing her and her allies to keep attacking and shooting while they have to play catch up. But again, the Musketeer only targets 1 enemy at a time with that super, unless you go for that 3rd ability upgrade, which allows her to get an extra target, which to me, whenever you get an extra target on any of your abilities, it's an amazing ability. I think this is by far her best upgrade, and honestly, I think it's the only upgrade I would do on the Musketeer at all. I'll go over the other upgrades, but her first upgrade is an extra stun duration of 2.5 seconds. This is definitely not bad. Of course, you would still go for the 3rd one first, but considering it only targets 2 units, it's kind of not amazing. It's not bad, because it's still a 3-cost unit compared to the E-Wiz being 4 cost, but at the same time, the E-Wiz would target 4 enemies, so you get the extra stun duration for 4 enemies. That's really good, but for 2 enemies, it's okay, especially considering there's also pushback as well, so is it really that needed? But then her second ability is a healing boast. Whenever she gets a kill, she heals up 6 health over 3 seconds. To me, this honestly makes no sense. I think it's really weird for the Musketeer to have this ability. She is the highest health backline unit in the game, and she doesn't deal much damage. Yes, of course, you can go for this, and then she hits 2 people with her super, but again, it's a super that stuns and pushback, so it's not high damage super. It does 3 damage. It's possible for her to get kills, and in fact, sometimes it will happen, but it's not a big part of her kit. She's not a unit that's really good at getting kills. In fact, she's quite mediocre at it. So to me, the boast ability is an upgrade I would never do. Now, maybe you can make an argument that, hey, well, what if I play her with the Barbarian King, you know, and then her super does 4 damage to 2 enemies, you know, with the Barbarian King super, boosting the damage by 1. Maybe I'd be more likely to get that boast. Okay, maybe it's possible that might be a situation, but I still don't think it's that good or that logical of an upgrade. So again, and I'm honestly being kind of nice saying this, I think that Musketeer is at best a B tier unit right now. She just doesn't feel that amazing, but as far as the best deck for her and what to combine her with, well, when you keep that E-Wiz comparison going, one thing the Musketeer should be much better at is protecting your backline, because she pushes back enemy units, or so if there's enemy melee units approaching, you can push them back and hopefully keep your team safe. So I feel like that makes sense with the Archer Queen. So here I just built a pretty standard Archer Queen deck, and again, I'm basically replacing the E-Wiz with the Musketeer, and otherwise this is a really normal Archer Queen deck. All right, live match time, and we are facing the Monk. All right, we got our ideal start, which is the Giant Skeleton and the Musketeer. Right, we got 6 elixir on the board. We got a tank who's protecting us. Okay, as far as matchups go, Musketeer should be good versus Countess and Monk, right? Especially if you get that 3rd upgrade where she targets 2 units. She's pushing back and stunning, you know, and that's really detrimental to the Monk and the Countess. And here we go. The Archer Queen is making them attack faster. Boom! They're done. They're gone. Now, let's see if we can get an upgrade for her and get that 3rd. Oh, perfect. Perfect. You know, I'm going to go for an extra unit here. And for fun, let's go ahead and mirror the Musketeer. Why not? So, this should be quite a good matchup for us, because we have mirrored Musketeer here. She's going to push back the Monk. The Monk should have no chance to target our Archer Queen. She should have more time to stay alive. And of course, you know, the Giant Skeleton is delaying as well. Although they're super low health. Here they go. They went off just barely in time. Okay, only the Healing Ranger was left. And here we go. Now let me know down below how you guys feel about the Musketeer and the Prince. Maybe I am slightly underrating the Musketeer. It could very well be possible. All right, let's roll, see if we can get the Spear Goblin. And this is probably the preferred units you would want to have in the 3rd round with this deck. I seriously don't think the other upgrades are that good, but hopefully you saw in some of the gameplay of the Musketeer whether she was able to get boast that often or not. Here she goes again, and it's another win. Let's go. Well, that's it for this video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more sneak peeks. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Peace.